And every now and then were those little frequent reminders that somebody had taken a dump here. More poo! The West Highland Way is disgusting. That is not a phrase that you want to hear if you're thinking of walking it, but unfortunately one section of it, that being the Loch Lomond section, which is stunningly beautiful. The landscape's amazing, the trail is brilliant, I loved walking it, but thanks to the behaviour of a few people, that experience was somewhat lessened, as you'll see in this video. But before we get to that, let's head back to earlier in the day, to a few miles behind, to Dryman, where I'd just woken up after having had a horrendous first day. Good morning. It's an absolute horrendous night, and I slept through all of it, comfortable and warm. I feel slightly guilty, not too much, slightly. If you want to find out why I ended up spending the night in that thing instead of my tent as planned, you'll have to go and watch the previous video. I woke up this morning, I looked out, and some poor guy spent the night sleeping on that picnic table. Their tent must have failed, or a lot of people's tents must have failed last night, because down in the barn there's tents hanging from these washing lines they've got up. People are mopping down soaking wet camp mats on the picnic tables. Morning, cows! I did run a bit yesterday, but I've decided I'm probably not going to do any running today because my feet are going to get wet with this weather, and your feet get wet and you run, you're far more likely to get blisters. Massive, fluid-filled blister. To try and get me going in the morning, I've got a playlist of sort of fun, funky and upbeat songs suitable for walking long distances in the rain. I can't believe it's raining on the road again. It rained last night, but I slept like a log. Unlike the other campers in the tent. Do 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 do, it is raining again. Boop boo doo doo, and I am walking on the West Highland Way. Boop 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 boo, and I am feeling much better today. 'Cause I got 8 hours sleep, but no one else did.
I heard a ringing bell this morning, and it woke me from a dream. And in that dream I heard a warning, saying leave the rest, take only what you need.
Just bumped into Evil Knievel.
Cape's still on the bike.
The cape's on the bike. This is Paul, and actually, tell them, what was it your name?
We're dressed as Evil Knievel, there's 50 of us, and we're doing John O'Groats to Land's End in aid of the NSPCC. It's called Ride Cymru Joggle. If you Google Ride Cymru 2024, you can make a donation if you like for the NSPCC.
Time goes slowly.
A good way of being economical with footage is to use the shot while you walk away in one direction, and then when you walk in the opposite direction, do a horizontal flip in the footage so it looks like you're somewhere else. That in the distance is my next target. That is Conic Hill, about 350 metres. From there I should have a marvellous view down over at Loch Lomond, and today I have to do a minimum of 15 miles. Once I do 15 miles, that gets me outside the wild camping permit area. Most of Loch Lomond, you have to have a permit to wild camp. I don't have a permit and I'm not booked into the other campsite, so this is my pure clear water filter, so called because the water just tastes pure and clear, which is different from some other fibre-based filters I've used in the past, where water can sometimes have a little bit of a taste to it depending on where it's coming from. Here we are, the proper summit of Conic Hill, and it's horrible! I literally just pitched my tent there to get a thumbnail. get off this hill and down to the loch and out of the wind, because it's freezing up here. Can anybody relate to this? The time it takes you to stop, take your bag off and take off a layer, put your bag back on and keep walking is actually only about 2 minutes, but it feels like 4 years. Well, that was a very delicious haggis and sausage pizza. When in Scotland, eat something Roman and Scottish. I'm not sure that immediately climbing up a hill after eating a massive pizza was the best idea. For me, this is where it started to feel like I was actually on the West Highland Way. The landscape was starting to become more dramatic, moody and beautiful. Listen. It's a beach. And then it started all to get a little bit spoiled. Ew. Poopy, poopy. Oh aye. Here we go. Look at this. Call signs of delinquents. Rubbish. I love this part of the trail in under the trees, and I spent most of it in solitude and made full use of the fact that nobody was watching me. And every now and then were those little frequent reminders that somebody had taken a dump here. More poo! And then, of course, it started raining again. This is rapidly turning into a repeat of yesterday afternoon. Fed up with this stupid rain. I'm worried tomorrow is just going to be like this again, and then the rain is just going to extend the entire time. I'm fed up with this rain. A mile and a half to go before I'm out of the permit zone and I can find somewhere to camp. It's 5:30 p.m. so by the time I get there it's going to be 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So I haven't mentioned this before because I was just kind of hoping it would go away, but the front of the lower part of my left shin is starting to hurt in a way that kind of feels like shin splints, which is something I have not experienced for about over 15 years. I'll add that to the list of things that's been going wrong this trip. More toilet roll, this time hanging from the shrubbery. You might want to empty the bins, Stirling Council. Ooh, happy days. Right, what am I having? Cheese and pickle. And one of these. Boiled eggs for £1 and a little salt and pepper. Right, I'm having 2 boiled eggs and a packet of these. What is this? Free? Ballymena man does not pass by a box that says free. What have we got here? Boiled sweets. Avoid those. What's that? Licorice. I'm having those. I am a happy man because every single other honesty box I've either missed it or it's been empty. That's the first one I've come across that's actually got something in it. Okay. Someone has a wicked sense of humour because this marks the end of the camping management zone. So beyond this, you can camp without a permit. Here, you can't. But look what's just before the sign. A perfectly good spot where you can camp with a bench for sitting on. Someone has done that on purpose. Okay, this is the spot where a lot of people make the decision to depart from the official West Highland Way route. This route follows down close to the shore, and this follows a track up through the forest. Apparently, if you take that track, it's really easy underfoot. But if you go down this way, apparently it gets really difficult. But we're not gonna tackle it until tomorrow morning because it's now time to find somewhere to pitch up for the night. I have to say, I now understand why most of Loch Lomond is a permit only zone. Yep, that's some underwear. It's disgusting down here. Here's a prime example. Bottle of Buckfast, wet wipes, fire pits with rubbish just left in them. It's like, come on Scotland, you're not your own best advertisement for the right to roam. I mean, look. Iron Brew. I'm walking back along the loch as far as I can to get away from the more easily accessed spots. Maybe find someone that's not filthy. There's a trail going this way. It's getting fainter, which means somebody's going down this way for some reason. That must mean there's a brilliant pitch down here. Oh, that's prickly. Okay, it's about an hour later. I am finally a happy man. Where do you see this? Ow! I can't have one. I hit my head off the... Okay, it's an hour later and I'm finally a happy man. Where do you see this? I've got a little spit of land. Oh, and what's this? I went back up to where people had dumped their rubbish and acquired the seat. And this shall be this will be my seat of contemplating. And this is what I'll be contemplating. That is some good contemplating. But even better, ta-da! I have got a pitch on the beach. I didn't video this because I've never pitched on a beach before, so I wasn't sure how long it would take. But what I did was I put the pegs into the ground, or into the gravel, and then I put a small stone in front of it and then a big stone on top of it, and that seems to have held it all in place. And then I found this stick that somebody else had broken off. Just to clarify, I did not break this off. Put it in the ground, and I had some shock cord with me. I've made myself a little awning. And I also grabbed one of those discarded foam mats and stuck it underneath the tent just to protect it a bit. Finally, something is going right. But it's taken so long to set this up that now I'm soaked to the skin again. Look what I found. I shall call him Wilson. That seems like a really original idea for a ball I just found. I'm gonna be devastated when I lose you. Oh wait, no. Apparently he's called Dunlop Ultimate All Surface. I think I prefer Wilson. Okay, one of the things I decided to do in this trip was prioritize my sleep. I never sleep well when I'm camping, so I decided to get this rectangular mat This is an X-Bed Ultimate 3, so it's got an R rating of about 3, so it's good down to like minus temperatures, but it's rectangular all the way down. And I'm at sort of a side slash front slash, I change position a lot when I'm sleeping. I just constantly toss and turn. And on one of those mummy mats, you know, it's fine for a night, I'll get some sleep, but because I flail around so much, I tend to like fall off them and not sleep as well. So I said I was going to get this. It's just about light enough to still bring on this trip as well. Very, very happy with it. And of course, thanks to X-Bed, here, one of my sponsors. And also, this is the sleeping bag I'm using. This is the X-Bed Ultra Zero with a comfort rating of 6. By the way, if you want to see all the kit that I've used on this trip, I'm going to be making a video after the trip. And in that video, I'm going to go through all the kit, tell you why I got it, and then tell you if it was actually useful or not, as well as telling you all the things that I haven't used at all. So far, there's been a couple. So if you want to see that video, why not hit the old subscribe button and you'll get a notification. As for the issue of the rubbish and the mess along that Loch Lomond section, I'm not entirely sure what the answer is. There seem to be 3 issues that I identified. One was wet wipes used by people who have needed to take a wild poo. So it doesn't require loads of people to do it, it just needs a handful because they don't biodegrade, so they're there forever. Maybe that one can be solved by educating people. Maybe you could put signs up that say wet wipes do not rot. Maybe people will get the message and stop using them. The other issue was like fly tipping and just rubbish in general. There are lots of places where it just looked like someone had come up in a vehicle, parked, chucked the rubbish out and gone on, and then later there were bins were overflowing. And is that the council's fault for not emptying the bins enough, or are the bins only overflowing because someone has, you know, dumped an entire van loads of rubbish at that spot? It's hard to know exactly. But then you've got the issue of the irresponsible wild campers. And while in some other places in the West Highland Way I noticed, you know, a few scorch marks, fire pits, a little small bit of rubbish, Loch Lomond was by far the worst section, and possibly that is just a byproduct of it being the closest to larger urban areas and cities. It's not that far from Glasgow. So it does mean it's just more accessible for irresponsible campers. So I do now totally get why camping isn't permitted along most of the length of it. Don't know what the solution is there. I'm not local, so I'm not going to try and solve that issue. I'm just kind of pointing it out as I saw it. Sitting on my seat of contemplation, which is a bit damp. And I've got my little bag of free sweets I picked up earlier. I'm curious as to why they're free. They look like normal licorice, but I know there is some licorice is like really salty. And I'm wondering. That's nice licorice. It's slightly salty, but not too salty. Why on earth would anyone pass up such a delicious opportunity? Oh no. Oh! It appears to be attracted. I inhaled a bit. It appears to be attracting the midges. The midges haven't actually been terrible, but I've had a few precautions. I have a little citronella candle burning. I've used some little incense cones from smoking midge and lit them. I'm just talking with my mouth full of licorice now. And lit them inside the tent when I'm in it, and it seemed to completely clear them out. Hold on. Is licorice not known for being a bit of a laxative?
I'm not leaving this tent until it stops raining.
Enjoy your speed!